We can say for sure that 2024 was a huge year for Ripple and even XRP. We saw XRP go from less than 50 cents to more than $3. That's crazy too, because this is only the start of a much bigger market move. Also, if we think about what's going to happen in the next few years, this whole space is going to really light up. So much that a lot of people will miss it because they don't know what's going on. Having said that, I have a lot to talk about in this movie about Ripple, XRP, and what's going on behind the scenes. That being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. If this video is your first time on the channel, I hope you decide to join by the end. This post from Casey Craddock from Ripple is what we want to talk about. Also, we have Ripple reached a big goal in 2024. We bought standard custody, released our stablecoin ROUSD, and showed many global financial institutions what crypto can do. The digital asset business will grow even more next year. How to do it? Adoption by institutions. Big companies like BlackRock and Societe Generale Forge took big steps in crypto in 2024, and in 2025, people who are still waiting must become more than pilots. Now, all of these institutions and big players are just watching and waiting. They are still testing things out and waiting. They need to start making big moves and get things under control. Tokenization will need to be scaled up, and long-lining use cases will need to be created in collaboration with experts. Keeping digital assets safe, digital asset protection is becoming a must-have for banks that want to stay competitive. It lets traders and tokenized assets use new ideas. People who get into this area early and invest in partnerships and specialized knowledge will quickly gain market share and trust. The fourth one didn't really fit in with this thread. In order to really look at this, I had to go to her old account, but we have rules that say speed is very important. Firms need to have faith in the UK to become a world leader in digital assets. To use blockchain as a growth engine, the government needs to set up rules for crypto assets and stablecoins as soon as possible in 2025. Please keep in mind that this is the executive director of Ripple talking to you. The year 2025 looks like it will be one of the most important ones for crypto yet. You need to pay attention. What if we go over here? Brad Gates has told you that since the election. 6 weeks ago, they made more deals with the US than in the 6 months before. And Ripple is hiring a lot of people, but he also said that the new administration with Scott Bessent, David Sachs, and Paul Atkins, along with the Trump administration, would have a big impact on this market. Brad Garlinghouse estimated that the value of all cryptocurrencies in the world would reach $5 to $7 trillion. He did say that would happen though. He said it would happen by the end of 24. In terms of time frames, it doesn't really matter, right? A quadrillion dollars will be changed by crypto when it comes to, putting it on the chain. But then there are all these markets inside that lend and borrow against it. You know that you have to turn down chances. This technology is going to affect everything important. Next are payments, which include stores, banks, and companies. In other words, this area is full of opportunities, possibilities, and ways to make money. In the coming weeks and months, this place will get very busy. But I promise you, over the next 2 years, it will connect everything. Everything in the world, however. Based on this, the British Blockchain Association says that there are only 14 countries in the world that have a blockchain plan. When we think about what will happen in 2025, we can see that the US will push crypto government talks and actions even faster. So you should keep in mind that every country wants to be a crypto hub. They want to be ahead of the curve when it comes to this tech, but they're all running a race. The EU is ahead with MiCA right now. That being said, I believe that every country, including the US, will agree with this. They need to. They need to be. Also, they need to be very quick with this. The world is about to change quickly. On top of that, Ripple keeps growing quickly and taking over even more. Thanks a lot, Bank XRP. All of these ads and spots have made Washington, D.C. feel like Ripple has taken over. These are only the lights around Washington, D.C. And I mean that the real Ripple account on X has more than 2.9 million fans right now. Ripple is quickly rising to fame in the world of money. And this is after a lot of trouble with the SEC. More than $150 million was spent. In the next few years, Ripple will be a big name. This is pretty much the Amazon of crypto in the future. Along those lines, we are also seeing some big changes here in terms of, say, tokenization and Japan. So I'd like to talk about how, Ripple is becoming a bigger name around the world. Japan is a big market for Ripple. We know that they are working hard on tokenization in that area, but this one was big. In fact, this took place in April 2024. I also want to connect this to what I'm trying to say about how well-known Ripple is around the world. We're happy to say that Ripple, Hashkey Group, and SBI Group have joined forces to create a relationship that will bring XRP-powered solutions to Japan's business world, starting with supply chain finance. There were a lot of reveals like this back in 2024 because soon after, in June, we were proud to start the XRP Ledger Japan and Korea Fund to encourage new ideas and better use of the XRP Ledger in APAC. Also, more than 1 billion XRP were added to this. But let's look at this too. We have this information from this core file because it is in a core file. This is what the CEO of Japanese financial giant SBI Holdings said. The CEO of Japanese financial giant SBI Holdings is XRP's biggest fan and wants the next World's Fair in Japan to only accept XRP as payment. A bank called XBI said it would try XRP on the $6.6 trillion foreign exchange market. There are between $1 and $7 quadrillion in the FX market around the world. SBI also launched a service to lend Bitcoin and said they would be adding support for Ethereum and XRP in the future. Also, keep in mind that Ripple controls 90% of the FX market. One of the biggest markets is the FX market. Also, Ripple Labs links the Western Hemisphere to XRP, while SBI Ripple Asia handles the East. Since September 2023, XRP will be able to be sent to bank accounts in the Philippines, Vietnam, and Indonesia, among other places. RippleNet will connect everyone in the world once global rules are in place. Thanks a lot, XRP drops. Yeah, guys, when we think about how big, XRP Escrow is a neutral bridge asset that ranks among the top 15 biggest banks in the world by market capitalization. This means that Ripple could become the bank of banks. Check out the reasons why this idea that Ripple, Ripple Payments, and Ripple Custody could become the bank of banks is true. Yes, this is very different now that we know how much XRP is worth on the market. I think it would put XRP in the top 10 of this list. But Ripple wants to be the bank of banks. Ripple, the company behind the popular cryptocurrency Xrp, has announced the launch of a set of custody services built specifically for financial institutions. This is a new business move. Thanks to these new services, banks and fintech firms will be able to store their customers' digital assets safely. Reasons why Ripple should be the bank of banks. The interbank communication network is number one. It links banks in a way that is similar to SWIFT, but faster, cheaper, and more effective. They could act as a go-between, but they wouldn't have to hold cash like banks do. Ripple isn't really a bank, but it does provide the blockchain and DLT technology that banks need to work together effectively. You can also work together with banks. Ripple already works with a lot of banks, already some of the biggest ones, which is huge. This makes it a major player in how banks talk to each other. Then a picture of the world's infrastructure. The goal of Ripple is to bring the global financial system up to date by making it interoperable and getting rid of problems that come up with cross-border payments. The same thing as a bank of banks. When we think about how big Ripple is getting, it does make sense that they could become a bank or a bank of banks. They seem like they will become the bank of banks because they offer so many things under one roof. In other words, they provide services for digital assets, payments, and security. Ripple has almost every kind of banking service you can think of, as well as blockchain services. It's really crazy. It makes sense, even though it seems crazy. Once more, this did not happen overnight. From as early as 2006 on, Ripple has been something that people talk about.